And good morning. Welcome to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. We're live here at the Laurel Park Paddock. I'm Stanton Salter, along with the voice of Maryland Racing, Dave Rodman. The birds are singing. It's Kentucky Derby Day, or as we like to call it around here, the final Preakness prep. We're 2 weeks away from the 142nd Preakness. How you doing, Dave?
Doing
Happy
great.
Derby Day.
Happy Derby Day. I know some of us were up early this morning, especially Kimber, being a Kentucky girl. She told me she got up early, like 5 o'clock, whatever time, before the horses got up, before the birds started chirping. So people are already handicapping the Derby. And, we're locally very happy here that we're on the turf after all the rain that we had yesterday morning.
Sure, and we have a nice carryover in our Rainbow Pick 6, almost 10,000. Bunch of nice grass races today. We have 12 live races here today, so we'll have a strong handle, some phenomenal betting opportunities here as we all enjoy the action from Churchill via simulcasting as well. Let's show you what we have going on here for Kentucky Derby Day right here at Laurel Park. Watch and wager on the first leg of the Triple Crown. Our Triple Crown kickoff features a Derby Day buffet and a party on the apron. Kentucky Derby post time from Churchill Downs about 6:34. We also have the PDJF fundraiser. It's a silent auction located in Laurel Park's clubhouse to benefit the permanently disabled Jockeys Fund. Some nice items there. Arrogant winning the 2016 Breeders' Cup Classic, signed by jockey Mike Smith. Secretariat flying to victory in the 1973 Kentucky Derby, signed by jockey Ron Turcotte, and much more. So enjoy all the Derby Day action, our live racing today in this silent auction with a bunch of great, valuable horse racing memorabilia.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a visit to the clubhouse and look at the silent auction items. Price it in your head, but remember, it's all for good fun for the permanently disabled Jockeys Fund, so you might want to bid on up and bid high and bid early.
All right, so that's part of the festivities we have out here today. Let's show you what we have going on with the Triple Crown days here for Derby. If you can't make it to Churchill or Pimlico for the Preakness or Belmont for the Belmont, you can enjoy all the Triple Crown days here at Laurel Park in the Silks Room. $15 for one day or $35 for all 3 days. Go to laurelpark.com for that. We're right around the corner from the start of the Preakness meet at Old Hilltop, Pimlico Racecourse, second oldest track in the country. We'll kick off our meet at Pimlico next Thursday. Can't wait.
Right. Getting back to Pimlico, always a great thing. And, when we get back to Pimlico, the tents will be up pretty much, and we'll be ready for the Preakness and ready for the Derby winner and others to roll into town. And the Stakes Barn, it's going to be a big meet and a fan appreciation day as well. We'll be racing Memorial Day weekend. The Preakness meet is a short one this year, May 11th through the 29th, Thursday to Sunday, post time 1:10, and of course, earlier post times on Black Eyed Susan and the Preakness Day.
And we know the Black Eyed Susan and Preakness Day, they'll be our 2 big days. However, don't forget about Mom on Mother's Day. I believe that's a week from tomorrow, May 14th at Pimlico. Make reservations now for the Terrace Dining Room, one of the best dining rooms in horse racing, right overlooking the track there. Bring Mom out for a special day at the track, Mother's Day buffet at Pimlico a week from tomorrow. Go to pimlico.com to make reservations for that. Preakness 142 is Saturday, May 20th. All the seats sold out last year. Get your tickets now. Go to preakness.com for all your tickets and information for the middle jewel of the Triple Crown, Saturday, May 20th. Don't get shut out. Go to preakness.com. And if you want to go to the biggest party of the year in this area, check out the Budweiser Infield Fest. Headliner Sam Hunt on the main stage, along with special guest Zed on the DeKuyper stage. Good Charlotte, Low Cash, and High Valley. An outstanding concert lineup this year in the infield, Dave.
Right. No matter where you want to experience the Preakness, we've got a good seat for you, whether it's the Budweiser Infield Fest and you like Sam Hunt, Zed, or any of the other artists there you see on the television set. You want to sit at the far end of the grandstand toward the starting gate in the old grandstand area. Some seats available there at the far end. I think Ty Ellis told you the other night, right down by the starting gate. Or if you want the box area, then right there beneath the grandstand. And of course, there's always the Turfside Terrace. Surprise your friend there with Turfside Terrace tickets. They'll be very very, very happy. That's the great seat. You're literally touching distance from the horses flying past you on the turf course, and you got your accommodations. It's covered too. Looked, I already peeked ahead at the weather. Couldn't help it, given the weather conditions in Kentucky, and here the last couple of days looking like a good forecast. 2 weeks out, keep your fingers crossed.
All right, Turfside Terrace, you can get 2-day tickets for that, Black-Eyed Susan Day and Preakness Day. Okay, the past couple mornings we've shown you the work of Irish War Cry last Sunday up there at Fair Hill, but we have a bunch of new people watching today on a big Saturday, of course, with the Kentucky Derby, so we want to show it to you. Again, he's the local horse trains here in Maryland up at Fair Hill by Graham Motion. Of course, Motion used to be stabled here at Laurel Park, got his start here in Maryland. He won the Kentucky Derby back in 2011 with Animal Kingdom, and this work looked absolutely sensational last Sunday. Let's show it to you. Here's Irish War Cry. He's behind the lead horse right now. He's going to come up on the outside. We're picking this work up about the half-mile pole. This is at Fair Hill last Sunday. He went to 6 furlongs, 1:13-1. After this work, we'll show you what Graham Motion had to say about the work. I was up there. Big, good-looking son of your Preakness winner, Curlin. I like Irish War Cry in the Kentucky Derby. Dave, your thoughts again on this work and on the odds right now for the Derby?
Graham Motion, as we said yesterday, termed the work perfect. You know, there's going to be some speed for him to run to. He shouldn't be hung up there, and he's just going to have to settle and relax, and he's really getting over the Fair Hill surface. But even more impressive is the fact that in the gallops at Churchill, he seems to be gliding over the Churchill surface just as effectively.
Didn't Curlin one of his Breeders' Cup Classic wins at Monmouth in the mud, I believe.
That was the Rainy Monmouth, right?
Mm-hmm. Rainy Monmouth Breeders' Cup Classic, Curlin won, so that's in his pedigree. That was the work last Sunday. Rajiv Mirage, his jockey, was aboard. I think they're going to get a beautiful dream trip from the 17-hole today in the Kentucky Derby. Graham Motion, he was certainly pleased with the work. Let's show you what he had to say last Sunday morning up at Fair Hill.
I thought it went perfectly. Couldn't have gone any better, really.
What was the official distance in the time, and what were you looking for and hoping for this work?
Yeah, so he went 6 furlongs. I mean, it's the only time I've worked him since the Wood by design. That's what I do. That's how we don't usually breeze till 3 weeks after a race. I told Rajiv, try and go off in 13, which is right what they did on the money, and he finished up in 13 and change. I don't think it could have gone any better. It was perfect.
It looks like he does everything so easily. He's got a huge stride. How easy does he do this, and how easy you think he'll get the 1.25 miles?
Yeah, I mean, I think the two biggest attributes he has are his stride, which is tremendous, and his demeanor. I mean, he kind of had this reputation for being a headstrong horse. He's not a headstrong horse like you just saw. He's very relaxed. He's done well being here, I think, for three weeks since the Wood. Now we go to Churchill, see what happens.
I remember with Animal Kingdom, the work he had before the Derby, everybody was raving about it, and a lot of people said, man, that was one of the best works going into the Derby. Do you have a similar feeling about this work here with Irish War Cry?
Well, interestingly, it was almost identical work, similar time-wise, although, obviously we did it with Animal Kingdom at Churchill. He needed to breeze at Churchill Animal Kingdom. He'd never even run on the dirt, probably never breezed on the dirt. So, Barry and I felt it was really important that he had that one work at Churchill. With this horse, I thought it was more important that he stayed here in this environment. But as far as the work goes, I mean, I think it was perfect.
And how's the whole team on a big stage like this about 6 days before the Kentucky Derby? How's the whole team doing?
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody's excited. You're on tender hooks a little bit because you just hope everything goes all right. That's all you can hope for.
All right, that was Graham Motion last Sunday morning up there at Fair Hill. The horse shipped down to Churchill on Monday. Taking a look at the odds real quick here. Irish War Cry was 6-1 morning line. He's 5-1 right now on Kentucky Derby morning.
Yeah, second choice currently at 5-1 as of about 10:45 this morning on the Kentucky Derby. Odds for Irish War Cry. Always Dreaming is the actual favorite right now, and he's a 4-1. Favorite. Let's just run them down top to bottom for everybody who's interested right now, because a lot of people are formulating their plays. Looking at Lee 27, Thunder Snow 18, Fast and Accurate 38, 63-1 on Trapped, Always Dreaming 4, State of Honor 56, Gervin is 21-1, Hence at 14, IRAP 40, and then Gunnevera at 9, 38 on Battle of Midway, Sonneteer 35, J-Boys Echo 45, Classic Empire and McCracken, each 7-1, 27 on Taprit, 5-1 Irish War Cry, Gormley 21-1, Practical Joke at 30, and Patch on the outside aside, I think he's getting a lot of play because of the publicity, the fact that he's a one-eyed horse. He's 15-1. He was all over the news as far as the Derby goes. A couple of things I saw this morning, last night.
So Pletcher trains that one in. Always Dreaming, who's your current favorite. So Classic Empire was the morning line favorite at 4-1. A little colder on the board right now, 7-1 maybe.
Yeah, I think so. The odds will change, you know.
Sure.
We've got a lot of money, a lot of time to go.
All right, well, let's show you what's going on here today. We have 12 live races. Our first race post time at 12:15. We have a bunch of races on the grass. Track conditions, they're coming up here shortly. We'll have most likely a muddy track. I'm saying we'll have the turf course listed as either good, maybe yielding. We had a lot of rain yesterday morning, but in race 1, we kick off the early pick 5 in race 1, also the super high 5. The super high 5, a small carryover, a little shy of 400. The rainbow pick 6 carryover, a little over 9,400. No carryover in that late pick 5. So weather today in the 50s, a little cloudy, chance of rain. We'll give you the track conditions as soon as we hear them. Let's take a look at the turf course and the dirt course if we have an overhead shot of them now. There we go. So we had a lot of rain yesterday morning. No rain right now. It's a little cloudy. Your thoughts on what the track conditions will be today?
Just about an hour ago, they harrowed the track a bit, and then there was kind of maybe a little bit of a threat of rain through the area, so they sealed it up one more time. But so they've opened it up a little bit, then resealed it, and hopefully we'll get some sunshine. Certainly we should be good by mid-afternoon, hopefully. The turf certainly had 1.25 inches of rain yesterday, but it certainly needed a bit of rain. It's in great shape. Great shape.
The world beyond the Exceller and the bowl game turf courses today. Let's get right to it here in the opener. Now, race 1, like we always do, we're going to kick off the early pick 5 here in race 1. That's not listed in your program, but we do definitely have it. We have the early pick 5 here in race 1. It's not listed in the program, but jump on in. We have that early pick 5. Trust me, I talked to Tim Lucius earlier this morning. We definitely have it. It's a mandatory payout on the early pick 5 with that industry low 12% takeout. One of the best bets here at Laurel Park are your pick 5s, and it's a mandatory payout here on the early pick 5 that starts in race 1. Race 1 also has a super high 5. Low 15% takeout as well on that super high 5. We have a small carryover, a little shy of $400 here in the opener. Let's get to some handicapping here for race 1. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the Exceller turf course with the rail at 70 feet, claiming 20,000, 3 and up, wide open 20,000. Nice group of turf runners here. I'll go with the 3 Foxhall Drive from the Corey Jensen barn. Anthony Gallardo back in town to ride this 5-year-old's made almost a couple $100,000, most all of that on the turf. He's won on the turf 5 times, dropping from a 2 other than allowance condition to this 20,000 claimer today. Has a race over the turf this season. I like that. I think Gallardo should get a ground-saving trip from the inside.
Yeah, and the Jensen barn heating up a little bit. Couple of winners back-to-back here the other day.
And this horse had a nice win against Allowance Company coming from way off the pace last November. So does have a win on the grass. And the 3 Foxhall Drive be my top pick. The 5 Barrel of Love from the Dale Capuano barn. This is a seasoned turf runner. 10-year-olds won 7 times on the grass, almost 400,000. Fergal Lynch gets aboard. Hasn't run since down there at Gulfstream back in January. Over 6 on the grass course here. That's a little bit of a concern, but a good third that last turf effort against open 16,000 claimers at Gulfstream in January.
Yeah, certainly at the age of 10, he's not going to improve any, and he hasn't won in a long time, but there have been some barn switches for this horse, and he's capable with his best effort. If he reverts back to, his old self, one time he ran a 95 buyer on the grass.
Mary Epler has 6 horses in today, so the Epler barn could have a big day. One of your top trainers here in Maryland. She takes over the training here of the 9 Barney Rebel coming off the layoff. This 9-year-old's a 5-time winner on the grass. Made a bunch of money. He's won on the Laurel grass before. Horacio Caramano's your second leading rider. Takes the call here on Barney Rebel. The barn about 17% with new runners in their barn. Horses coming off this kind of layoff. 23% with a positive ROI.
Yeah, a couple of 9-year-olds in the field and a 10-year-old Barrel of Love. Like Barrel of Love, he's not going to improve suddenly, but it's a barn switch here, and you got to realize first time in Epler's barn with a similar runner the other day. Peace Prize on April 28th, 13-1 in the winner's circle. Do not overlook Barney Rebel in this spot. Made a similar move the other day for Flying Pheasant Farm, and they cashed a nice $28 win ticket.
All right, and I'll throw the 11 Texas Zip in there as well. First time gelding today, coming off the layoff for the Hall of Famer Jonathan Shepard. Nice group of open 20,000 claimers going long on the Exceller to kick off that early pick 5. We have an early pick 5 starting in race 1. Let's turn the page here. Race 2. All the pick 4s this afternoon today here at Laurel Park for Derby Day. We're going to give you a 10% bonus. If you're a premier player, you hit a pick 4 this afternoon, you get a 10% bonus reward capped at $100. Make sure you go to guest services. Make sure you're a premier player and jump on in here for the pick 4 pools. Expected to be played very well today here. Race 2 is going to kick off the early pick 4. This is one of the allowance features of the day. A very nice group of runners here. 3 other than allowance condition. Optional claiming 32,000 going a mile on the main track. Let's take a look here at Say Mordini, a 4-year-old son of Bernardini. He got a 101 Beyer speed figure in his last win. No doubt about it. Won by over 12 lengths with Horacio Caramanos aboard for the red-hot Linda Rice.
Look at that. It's a 101 Beyer figure. He wins by a dozen and a raw time, a 134-4. A mile here at Laurel Park, that is a very, very quick time. Granted, the opening quarter was slow, but it's a powerhouse performance, a stakes-type performance. And, you know, a lot of people saying, well, you know, he's going to bounce off that effort. He's been given time. He's been given time. If there's only one knock against him, I guess you can say the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place finishers stand have come back to run. None of those 4 have won. They hit the winner's circle. But that's a 101 figure from Linda Rice horse. So looking back here at Laurel Park, only Kid Cruz ran a 102, had a better Beyer figure at Laurel of all Linda Rice runners that she started here in the last 5 years. And we know Kid Cruz was a very, very nice horse. Seymour Dini looks like he either loves Laurel, maybe he's a mile specialist, maybe he's going to go beyond the mile. If he wins again today, they'll be thinking some lofty thoughts for him.
Yeah, he'll be the heavy favorite here in race 2. The trainer's title here, you have Claudio Gonzalez, Kieran McGee tie with 26 wins. Linda Rice, 1 win behind them with 25. So after the second race today, you very well could have a 3-way tie for leading trainer.
You're right. You got to keep your eyes open for the trainer standings. I mean, it could go down to the last few races on Sunday afternoon.
All right, I'll throw the 2 Blue Moon Ace in there. 7 for 10 in the money here at Laurel Park with 3 wins. Gallardo aboard for Corey Jensen. So Gallardo, he rode here a little bit last year, did pretty well. He's a seasoned journeyman jockey, been riding down there in Florida for the wintertime. Looks like he's riding a bunch of horses for Corey Jensen. This horse is a good third against 3 other than company last out to a very sharp winner there, Just Call Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Maryland bred. He's done some of his best running at 3/4 of a mile when he makes that one run. Interesting spot for him going a mile. Maybe they think that he can just kind of stalk and kind of pounce a little bit, maybe not be as far back coming off the shorter sprints here for Blue Moon Ace.
And I'll throw the 6 Colonel Sharp into the mix as well as the 4 No Distortion. Let's keep rolling on. We have 10 more races to get to here this afternoon on Today at the Races. Race 3, we're on the main track going a mile in a 16th maiden, claiming 25,000, 3 and up. I'll go with the 6 on top. Celtic Ruler from the Timmy Keefe barn. Forest Boys gets aboard. Now, this horse will be forwardly placed, I think, stretching out from those sprints to the 2-turn race today. A good come from behind second, last out at this level, going 6 furlongs. I think he'll be a little bit closer on closer up today, stretching out to 2 turns. And you got to throw a horse by Louis Couture's on top on a Triple Crown day.
I'll give him a Maryland mud mark. Louis Couture's Yarrow Brace, some good Maryland mud breeding here. The track's still a bit wet after the rain yesterday. Track is muddy up on the main track now and yielding on the turf course you see on the upper screen.
Linda Rice, she might be the leading trainer after the 3rd race. She's doing the claim and jam job here. Claim this, the 1 Apollo Landing, 3-year-old son of Malibu Moon, claimed for maiden 40 last out at Aqueduct early April. They wait the 30 days. They're jamming in for 25,000 here today with Caramano. Should get a ground-saving trip from the inside. Blinkers off today here on this well-bred, underachieving colt so far.
Yeah, so far, but the blinkers come off. So a new move and a class drop for that one. Ticker Tape Parade kind of interests me a bit. Stan, he on the class drop as well.
For Tom Proctor, Fergal Lynch going turf to dirt here for strong connections. I'll throw the 7 little tricks in there as well. First off the claim for Kieran McGee. They claim for 25. They wait the 30 days, go right back in for 25,000. Gets top rider Alex Cintron aboard.
Going back to Ticker Tape Parade, I mean, he's dropping like the rice horse. I mean, they paid, what, $90,000 for him, and they've run him in 4 maiden special weight races. And looking back on his maiden special at Tampa last time he was on the dirt, the race has been productive, but not super, super fast winners. Horses that have come back and run 90 type buyer figures or upper 80s. So I think they're seeing that and saying, well, let's reasonably spot him in here at the 25 level. Maybe that race not as strong as maiden special as we thought.
That's a big drop from the maiden special weight for maiden 25 here with the 4 Ticker Tape Parade. Let's turn the page here. Race 4, we get back out to the bowl game turf course, going a flat mile with the rail at 17 feet, claiming 16,000. Never won 3 lifetime for 3-year-olds and upward. I'll go with the 2 Mr. Benz coming off the layoff for trainer Rodney Jenkins. Steve Hamilton gets aboard. Those 2 teamed up for a coming off a layoff win yesterday in the finale. Who won the last race yesterday? I forget. So Quiet. So Quiet came
quiet for Hillwood Stable.
For Hillwood Stable, and Rodney Jenkins came off the layoff. Steve Hamilton was aboard, got the money. I think Mr. Benz, who won a nice starter allowance, 2 life here at Laurel Park on a good turf course last August. So this horse likes a little moisture in the grass. Well spotted here today, 16,000, 3 life.
Yeah, he came from way off the pace in August there, so he obviously maybe doesn't have as much speed on the grass, so he's been forwardly placed on the grass in some of his races. He's kind of a hard read to me.
It finds easier company today than he's been running against. That's
other than the drop, I mean, you look at his running lines, trying to figure where he's going to be in this race, because back in August of 2015, he was near it, then he was double digits off of it with Trevor, and he got up to win.
You see for on the work tab here, you see a series of 4 nice 5-furlong works here on the 2 Mr. Benz. So that's my top pick from the Rodney Jenkins barn. I'll throw the 11 into the exact on the outside here. Storm Net for the Hall of Famer King Leatherberry. Entered for the turf early April. That race came off the turf. They ran anyway, so he has a race under his belt now. Gets on the turf with Karamanos aboard. So you have to respect the strong connections here of the 11 Stormnet.
Right, and your third pick there, Broad Axe Bernie's very interesting to me, Stan, from the Elizabeth Merriman barn. A lot of players maybe just open that form up and look at that layoff line. 61 to 180 days off, they see 8%, 85-cent return on the dollar investment, and they'll toss the horse. But who won the other day? It's 7-1 Royal Reneg with the same kind of layoff. Royal Reneg for the Merriman barn. Broad Axe Bernie coming off a similar. He's not out of it. I mean, other than the layoff, it's the only concern. But look at the other runners in this race. He fits here.
I like him. You get a top rider, Alex Cintron aboard. Merriman does a nice job training up there at Fairhill. You have to like the 9 Broad Axe Bernie. I'll throw the 12 Some Promises into the mix as well. The 13 Primetime Man draws in off the AE and runs for Chucky Lawrence. Javion Toledo aboard. Let's turn the page here. We got to catch up on time here. Race 5 kicks off. Another pick 4, 10% bonus on all the pick 4s this afternoon here at Laurel Park. This is for premier players. You get a $100 bonus. The reward is capped at $100 maximum. 10% bonus on the pick 4s. Make sure you go to Guest Services to learn more about this. Race 5, we're going 5.5 furlongs here on the Exceller Turf Course rail at 70 feet. This is a 3 and up, wide open, claiming 7,500. I'll go with the 4 Flying to Beat Childers from the Gary Capuano barn. Jomar Torres aboard. Gary Cap with a nice win yesterday with Haley's Flip. This horse getting an easier spot today against 7,500 claimers. A much easier race than that 7,500 starter allowance last out.
Jomar Torres with 2 wins yesterday. Gary Cap and Torres, I think they're 4 for 12 here at the meet. So a good combination. on a horse who has won a couple of races on the grass here at Laurel. He likes more to run second, third. I've seen him make little moves and kind of hang a little bit, especially third. I mean, he's been 6 times third out of 15 on Laurel turf, but his last race, ultra tough, Billy the Bull, as a 6-year-old last year, and 89, 90, 92 buyers who know that horse from the McGee barn, right?
On McGee barn, yeah. And Flying to Be Chillers had a troubled trip last out, was steadied around the far turn, so let's see if he gets a better trip today. I'll use him on top. The 3Q, this horse runs well fresh. 5-year-old son of Great Notion. Lacey Gaudette's won a couple grass races with him. I had this horse at about 20, 25 to 1 in debut against Maiden Special Weight Company a couple years ago. The horse runs well fresh. Gaudette's done well with them. She's won a couple races with them since the claim. You get Jevion Toledo aboard. I'll take a shot here with the 3Q in my exacta.
Mary's Honor, your third pick, hasn't won since the claim, but Lake Barnes been solid here this meet, dropping him in for $7,500 after the layoff. I don't know. He's going to have to lay a little closer to the pace. Flying Toby Childers beat him last time out. If I recall, this horse had some better early foot way back when, so he's going to have to turn the clock back, I think, to win.
Finds easier company than what he's been running against coming off the layoff, the 11 Mary's Honor. I'll throw the 2, put your seatbelt in there, always comes with a late rally. Angel Cruz aboard today for Tony Aguirre, has a race under his belt, should do better than that today, dropping from a tougher race, dropping from 15 to 75 here.
That was a strong effort after the layoff. K. Marie Kreidel out of retirement to come back to ride, and now coming to the race this afternoon. They're going to Angel Cruz here on Put Your Seatbelt On. If you play him, buckle up, because he comes running in the stretch, and when he comes rolling, you're going to have to cheer him on the last furlong. He's got a nice little turn of foot in that last eighth of a mile.
All right, a nice 7,500 turf sprint there in race 5. Let's talk about race 6 here real quick. We'll get a commercial break after race 6, and we'll get you ready for that Rainbow Pick 6 starting in race 7 today. Race 6, maiden claiming 40,000. Filly mares 3 and up, going 6 furlongs. I'll go with the 5, Redeeming Love. Dropping in, stays at the same level. That's why I like here. The horse ran well first off the claim for Mary Epler. Karamanos gets aboard today. Those two 23% together with a positive ROI. A good second at this level, maiden 42 starts ago. Didn't run very well in the slop last out. Stays at this level here today, protected, not in for the claiming price because she's a Maryland bred. I think she runs better today. Since that ho-hum effort on March 31st, you see a bullet half-mile work at Pimlico, 48 and 2. Karamanos gets aboard. I like the price here. I think the 5, Redeeming Love, gets back to that sharp form you saw on March 11th.
Yeah, this could be a case where Mary Epler's just slowly figuring her out. First thing she did after the claim was add the blinkers, and a good second of the weekend. Not such a sharp effort on the sloppy track March 31st, but again, that bullet work could indicate, and they're not taking the blinkers off, they're leaving them on. Maybe they made a little different kind of a blinker change on her for this race, just conjecture there. She's a live player.
The one midday prayer I'll throw into the exacta. Brian Pedroza aboard for Keith Nations. A couple good thirds at the maiden 40,000 level. Good third, 2 starts to go in the slop. The maiden special weight last out, going a mile. That race just too tough. Gets back to an easier spot today. I don't like the inside post. This horse kind of sits about mid-pack. But I'll see if the midday prayer can get back and get good form today.
Okay, and just a little workout note on the 9 to 5 morning line favorite there, Sneaky Betty dropping in for the tag. That Fairhill work, 48 and 2 from the gate. That was as good, same time as Great Soul, who was a stakes winner, Wide Country Stakes. And certainly she's kept the company there, Dancing Rags and Tecolita. Question is why the drop in here. It's not a plunge, but, they paid 6 figures for him. She's in for 40. But look at the company she faced last year. This is a good race, and you might have a good price angle there with the Redeeming Love and that sharp work.
I might have been being a little hard on the 3 Sneaky Better. I left her out altogether, coming off the layoff, dropping. We'll see. The barn maiden special weight, the maiden claiming they're 44%, so perhaps I was a little foolish to leave the Tom Proctor filly out.
Well, just thought the work was worth mentioning. You can see the company lines there, but
sure.
She's kind of the master of the obvious horse.
All right, let's get a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll start with race 7. Nice carryover in that Rainbow Pick 6 today, a little over 9,400. Bunch of nice grass races in the Pick 6 sequence. We'll start with that after these words.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions who make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to support horse racing, to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet. We are racing.
Welcome back. Today at the race is presented by Fidelity First. We're live here at the Laurel Park Paddock. I'm Stan Salter, Dave Rodman. Happy Kentucky Derby Day, or as we like to call it, Final Preakness Prep Day. We're all rooting on Irish War Cry down there for Graham Motion. Nice 12-race card here today. We're going to have a big Derby Day party for you on the apron. Silent auction with a bunch of great horse racing memorabilia to benefit the PDJF. So hope you can come on out here and enjoy Derby Day with us. 12 live races. The weather's getting pretty nice.
Yeah, I think we'll see some sunshine here before the day. Just us spoke. Maybe it kind of brightened up a little bit on the first turn. It was like that with winners. Win.
and I see some track conditions here. They have the main track listed as muddy, and we're on the Exceller and Bowl Game turf courses today. We have the turf courses listed as yielding right now.
All right. So with that sunshine should help the turf course certainly, but especially that main track. Maybe looking for good if they can harrow it a little later on today. It's a long day.
All right, let's take a look here at race 7 to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6 carryover today, $9,404. If they don't hit it today, make sure you jump in tomorrow. It'll be a mandatory payout tomorrow, as tomorrow's the final day of our long winter spring meet. Then we go to Pimlico next Thursday. So some nice Pick 6 action for you this weekend here at Laurel Park. Going into yesterday, just like on Thursday and Friday, there was 4 chances to take down the Pick 6. There was 4 singles going into the last race the past couple days. So don't sleep on this Pick 6. You take it down today, you might have a nice signer for about $15,000, $20,000 because we'll get about $5,000, $10,000 new money bet into it today. Here's my ticket, a very affordable $32 play. You can check out all my tickets on the laurelpark.com website, as well as catch up on all the latest racing news with all our press releases on the laurelpark.com website. I'll go 5 deep here in race 7 using the 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, going 4 deep in race 8. Race 9, it's a nice allowance race. I like a 15-1 shot on top in race 9. The number 9, Two Dare. I told you, I think Mary Epler's going to have a big day today. Two Dare is a first-time gelding, ran decent in the slop on Christmas Eve here at Laurel Park. I like the 9, Two Dare, at 15-1. I'll use that one along with the 4, Aimed, from the Alan Goldberg barn. Race 10, I'm going to single on a 5-1 shot. Number 10, Versed, from the Michael Matz barn, also a first-time gelding with Alex Centron aboard. Race 11 is another 3 other than allowance race, going 5.5 furlongs on the bowl game turf course. I'll use the 6 and the 7 in there. Sandy's Slew, and I like the 7. I have the 7, Oak Bluffs, on top there for trainer Mary Epler, 7-year-old who's won 4 times on the grass here at Laurel Park. Then I'll go 2 deep there in the finale. I think Mary Epler is going to have a huge Saturday here on Derby Day.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Mary Epler because you left her off here on Clairvoyant in the 7th race, Stan. What's going on there?
Well, I'll have to explain myself there. But this horse won on our owners. Let's take a look here at race 7. Race 7 is a nice starter allowance, optional claimer, $25,000, going a mile on the bowl game with the rail at 17 feet. And yeah, I left the 1 Clairvoyant out, 10-1. This horse, I remember, won on Owners Fantasy Day, and some people that were out here for Owners Fantasy Day, they have a piece of Clairvoyant. So there'll be a big fan following today here, I think, on the 1 Clairvoyant.
I might have to double your ticket and throw her in. I'll tell you why in a minute. Go ahead.
All right. Well, my top pick here is going to be the 3, Secret or Not, coming off the layoff here for trainer Ferris Allen. First time in the new barn for Ferris Allen. The barn's having a solid meet here. 20% winners. Ferris gets his main man, Horacio Caramanos, aboard. Caramanos to get a nice ground-saving trip from the inside. She's been running against 2 other than allowance companies, Stakes Company in the Brookmead and the Nellie Mae Cox. This horse is 8 for 13 in the money with a couple wins. This is a much easier spot here against starter allowance Company coming off the layoff than what she was running against last year.
Well, this is a tough race. You can tell on Keith's morning line when he makes the mare 5-2 on the morning line. You see some prices kind of spread out in that second tier. This is a tough race. You did the right thing by spreading your ticket in the 7th.
I'm 5 deep in here. I'll use the 4 Andrasta, Sheldon Russell aboard for Hammy Smith. This horse had a decent effort sprinting on the turf on a yielding turf course. Sat about mid-pack, a good third against First Level Allowance Company on April 8th. This starter allowance, I think, maybe an easier spot than that allowance race. Second off the layoff for a good barn here. Hammy Smith, Sheldon Russell's been winning for Hammy Smith. Nice 9-2 price on the 4 Andrasta.
Yeah, she outran her odds before the little layoff, and then coming back after time away was 13-1 and a good third sprinting on the yielding ground, and that's what we have here today. And then stretching out from a sprint to going long, and an even better handicapping angle. I did not see Hamilton Smith, Hammy Smith today on the way to the set. Every time I see him, that's it. So, but when I don't see him, his horses win.
He wins.
That's a proven handicapping angle. So Andrasta, big chance here.
All right, now I'll throw the 6 Zippity Gal, Fergal Lynch aboard for Keith Nations here. This filly hasn't run since last September up at Parks. Has a win on the grass course here against starter allowance, 25,000, 2 Life Company last July. That was the first race off the claim for the new barn. A decent effort against First Level Allowance Company last August. Been training well here at Laurel Park in the mornings coming off the long layoff. Should get a good trip from the 6-hole with the top rider, Fergal Lynch aboard.
Off that claim win back last summer, July 3rd, midsummer, that was a big effort. She was a gritty and wanting to wear down the horse in front of her and got up to win by a neck in the photo there. So she's had some time off, and she's won over this course.
A lot of horses coming off the layoff here in race 7. A horse that just won on March 19th down at Gulfstream, going 2 turns against 16,000, 2 Life, is the 8 Hussah for trainer Kelly Rubley. She does a nice job up at Fair Hill. You get a top rider, Jevion Toledo, aboard. This race a little tougher than that last race this mare won, but she's in good form right now and just won back in March.
Yep, listen to Pete Aiello's call last night of this mare, Hussah, and she got into a bunch of trouble at 70 cents to $1. Looked like she was hopelessly in a trap top of the lane. Once she got through, that was it. It was all over. So she'll step to Laurel here, Hussah. Going back to Mary Epler's horse, just kind of curious about the breeding there on the turf for her, because she tried the turf one time. She finished 9th. Light from above, didn't see much, but did a little digging. Her second dam in the family, very special Light, was a grade 3 turf winner. So
wow.
You like Epler today? I might have to double your ticket and toss that one in with you.
And that lone turf try over a year ago, that was in a different barn. She was a 3-year-old then. She hasn't won then. This is she's in a new barn now, Mary Epler. She's in good form right now. She just won a maiden special weight going a mile in March. You get a top rider, Alex Centron. So, yeah, maybe throw the 1 Clairvoyant on your ticket there, 10-1.
All righty. You got your single home yesterday, so maybe you can get your single home in the pick 6 today. All right. 46 minutes out to post time. Well, out of 12 races today, Stan.
12 races. Race 8's going to kick off the late pick 5. Nice group of maiden special weight filly and mare runners here to kick off the late pick 5. Industry low, 12% takeout. Race 8's 5.5 furlongs on the Exceller turf course with the rail at 70 feet. I'll go with the 6 on top, Kept from the Alan Goldberg barn. A good second against Maiden Special Weight Company down at Gulfstream back in March. So she's in good form right now. Jevion Toledo gets aboard. That's a nice 9-2 price here on a horse for strong connections here, the 6 Kept.
Yep, a time away. They do good work up there at Colts Neck. Always ship the horses down. They thrive up there, and she comes out of a strong race.
The 3 How, if there's a lot of speed early and the pace falls apart, this horse cutting back from route to sprint. The barn about 13% here. Trainer Tom Proctor, Fergal Lynch gets aboard. She'll probably be covered up down the backstretch, and we'll have to find a clear running lane turning for home. But a nice 3-year-old daughter, Galileo, who's run a couple decent efforts on the turf at Keeneland and the fairgrounds.
Her form overseas, notice sprints, 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs, 6 furlongs. And good efforts there. So then she came to the States, and she's been going long. So no doubt she can sprint.
A couple of decent prices I'll throw in real quick. The 10 Dorothy from Dublin, 8-1. A good third going 2 turns on the grass. Maiden special weight last October. Coming off the layoff today for Hammy Smith. And how about the 8 Rhythm and Rap at a nice 12-1 price with the 7-pound apprentice Sarah Schaefer aboard. Schaefer was aboard for that debut assignment against Maiden 40 Company for trainer Ann Merriman. Came wide, a good second, stepping up in the Maiden special weight company today. The Algorithms, I like Algorithm. That's a new young sire. That's a sire recruiting ready. So maybe a live long shot here with the 8 Rhythm and Rap.
Dorothy from Dublin, your third pick there. Off time away. I have to. She spends my loot, who was 4 for 13 on the turf. So really, really nice pedigree there for Dorothy from Dublin, who's a Kentucky bred, run against the Irish bred. How? So maybe the Kentucky bred named Dorothy from Dublin can beat the Irish horse.
All right, so 4 more races to go here. Race 9 is going to kick off the late pick 4. I have a ticket for the late pick 4. You get a 10% bonus on all the pick 4s today. Go to guest services. Make sure you're a premier player and try to get yourself a 10% bonus on all the pick 4s this afternoon. Let's take a look here at my late pick 4 ticket. Very affordable, $24 play. Again, you can catch my tickets. And Kimber Goodwin, she'll be on with me this afternoon. You can catch our action, our picks on the laurelpark.com website. But a $24 play for me here in the late pick 4. I'll go 2 deep here in race 9. 2 deep in the 10th, and I'll spread out a little bit in the 11th and going 4 deep there in race 12. Late pick 4, it's a nice race here. Race 9, it's a 2 other than allowance. Optional claimer, 25,000, going 7 furlongs. Let's take a look here. Video spotlight of my long shot of the day, the 9, 2 Dare at 15-1. He's a first-time gelding today, 5-year-old son of Curlin. This is his effort back on March 4th. He came with a wide rally from way back against Starter Allowance Company. Starter Allowance Starter Allowance 4 Life this day. Gets up for a good second, only beaten ahead. Ran after this race and didn't run very well on March 24th. Had a decent third against Nickel Starter Allowance Company last December in the slop. So this horse has a decent try over the slop. How about the big step up here? Mary Epler doesn't just play around. She's stepping this horse up from Starter Allowance Company into a 2 other than first-time gelding. My theory is, hey, the horse is doing well since they've gelded him. You see a bullet work at Pimlico, April 30th, the half mile, 48-2. This is a confidence move here for a barn that you have to have respect for. Caramanos gets aboard. You've seen over the years several big prices with first-time gelding, so I'll take a shot here with the 9 Tudare at a big 15-1 price.
No knock against your long shot. Tudare is a good turn of foot late. Now these first-time gelding, maybe he'll be more interested in getting into the act early. A couple of times, he just lags way behind and kind of gets interested too late, and here he comes rolling late in the stretch. But first gelding, sharp work, I can go for that, especially the price.
All right, the 4 Aimed, going to be tough from the Alan Goldberg barn, 5-1, coming off a layoff. Last time we saw this horse was against Allowance Company going a mile in the mud last July. A sharp win that day, got an 85 buyer speed figure. The 7 furlong should hit him right between the eyeballs coming off the layoff here. Javion Toledo gets aboard. So I used the 4 along with the 9 in my pick 6 and late pick 4.
This is a typical race you're going to see here time and time again in Maryland with the better purses and the better quality racing we have now. Horses coming from everywhere, and then you think, well, okay, let me handicap for 6 furlongs. You look up, oh, it's 7/8 of a mile. Throw another dimension in here. Horses like Aimed, a trap shot horse who had a little bit of talent at 2. They gave him some time off. Now he comes back at 4 after time away off of 2 nice races. He's been training solidly for the barn. You've got horses like Golden Glen, who's a 7-time winner here over this track. Loke's Vengeance has never been here to Laurel, who's got some early speed and has been strutting some stuff in New York breds. This is a tough race. 2 deep, maybe ripe for a long shot.
Yeah, nice upper level allowance feature there in race 9. Let's turn the page here. Race 10, we get back out to the turf. This is a starter allowance, optional claimer, 25,000, going a mile in a 16th on the Exceller turf course, rail at 70 feet. This is a starter allowance, never won 2 lifetime, and I'll go with a 5-1 best bet of the day here, the 10 Verse, another first-time gelding angle here for you. Well-bred 4-year-old son of Medaglia de Oro. This is a homebred for George Strawbridge, Augustin Stable. figured it out. Last out down there at Gulfstream against Maiden. Maiden claiming 20,000. Went right to the front with Edgar Prado. Kept on going. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Should love the mile and a 16th two-turn distance here today. I think the horse will be even better now. First time gelding for Michael Matz. I love the 5-to-1 price I'm getting on the 10 verse.
I like the fact that he's got some tactical speed too, Stan. And you've got layoff horses coming in here. 2 of them, I think, from the Trombetta barn. Am I right? You got the 3
and the 9 Baltic Art.
Yeah, right, and the 9 Baltic Art. And so you've got some question marks on the layoff type runners here, but it is gelding first time, tactical early foot, could improve a lot here.
All right, the 3 I'll throw into the mix. Immunity, another, like you said, Trombetta horse coming off the layoff. A good second at this level last November. Fergal Lynch will get a nice ground-saving, covered-up trip along the inside. Horse been working very well up there at Fair Hill on the synthetic.
He's 3 for 35, Trombetta, in this layoff on the turf going long. So, you know, is that a fair price on him? Do you want a little bit more price, a better price, especially for a horse who tends to kind of lag mid-pack to the rear of the field?
All right, I like the other Trombetta horse too, the German bred, the 9 Baltic Art, and how about the 4 Summer Sprice? Just broke his maiden. It took him 10 tries to break the maiden, but that was against maiden 25,000 company, going long on the grass at the fairgrounds, going 2 turns. Got a 73 buyer in that race, so maybe this horse has woke up now. And he's not coming off a layoff. He's in good form right now. Mitchell Murrell aboard for Mike Stidham.
Yeah, that
the 4 Summer Spice.
Okay.
So that's that horse 3-to-1.
That's Sheldon Russell. I knew Murrell was
rider
off today.
change. Okay.
Yeah, Murrell's off today. That's why I was doing a double take there. So Sheldon Russell on the 4.
Okay.
Summer Spice.
Thank you. I'm a little behind on my rider changes. So I like the horse. Well, it's got a good rider, so you have to respect the 4 Summer Spice here. Let's turn the page here. Race 10, another nice allowance feature of the day here to kick off the late daily double. This is a 3 other than allowance race, optional claiming 32,000. Bunch of nice allowance races today here on our 12 race card. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the bowl game with the rail at 17 feet. Let's take a look here. Video spotlight of the 7-year-old Oak Bluffs. I love this horse here. Here's his last win on April 16th here at Laurel Park. This was against 2 other than allowance company, going 5.5 furlongs. He makes his customary come from behind move here with Alex Centron aboard, and it's going to get up with the white red circle G silks. There's Oak Bluffs getting up there on the far outside. This was his 4th win from 8 starts here at Laurel Park. He's 6 for 8 in the money here at Laurel Park. The 7-year-old's made over 300,000. Most of all that on the turf. He's won 10 times on the turf. He's stepping up into deep water here in this 3 other than. I love the 9-2 price. I think Epler's going to have a huge day, and I think the 7 Oak Bluffs is going to run huge.
Yeah, it is much deeper water. When you got Sandy Slew in there and the first gelding, number 2, Cyclogenesis in here. He's really going to have his running shoes on today, but he's a very consistent horse, and he likes to spy his rival and kind of run with him to the wire.
Yep. Seasoned for veteran for sure. You mentioned the 6, Sandy Slew from the Schosberg barn. Horacio Caramanos gets aboard. We saw this horse win a 2 other than here at Laurel Park way back in November 2015. Got a 90 buyer speed figure in that race. He's coming off a layoff. Didn't run very well going a mile last out, but he gets back to his preferred distance today. And the 2 Cyclogenesis here for Chucky Lawrence, exiting Stakes Company last July at Saratoga. First time gelding on that runner. Well, this is a salty group.
Yeah, look at Cyclogenesis. I mean, he did. I remember his race here at Laurel. He won the Laurel Futurity at 2. You know, he's been lightly raced since then, but he's going into a new barn today. And tough company last time out in the Lucky Coin at Saratoga last summer. I think they may have plans to bring him back up to New York if he runs well today for the summer. Grade 2 Shakertown winner was undrafted, 3rd place finisher in there, the favorite in the race. He's a graded stakes winner. So Cyclogenesis loves this track. Can he come back to his 2-year-old form?
This is a nice group of upper-level allowance runners there, going 5.5 furlongs on the bowl game. That race kicks off the late daily double, the finale of the day here. This is everyone's key race. This is where you're going to be live, maybe in that rainbow pick 6, that late pick 5, the late pick 4. So this is going to be the most important race of for some people of the day, claiming 5,000. Never won 2 life, going 6 furlongs. Let's take a look here. Video spotlight of my top pick, the 9, Don't Be Scared, from the Kieran McGee barn. This was his win in the slop late March here. He broke his maiden against maiden 8, going a mile. with Kevin Gomez aboard. They ran him against Nickel 2 Life Company last out going a mile. He was in front turning for home, finished third that day. I love the route to sprint angle here for this horse on the outside. He likes an off track. Kieran McGee route to sprint, a very nice 28%. I think the 9, Don't Be Scared, going to be a tough foe to deal with here in the final strides today.
Well, that's the slop, and I think, right now the track muddy. We'll see what the track condition is by race 12 around 6 p.m.
Sure.
Probably a little short of that muddy status there. But, there's a couple other horses in here that look good, too. You got Humboldt Street, good second to Sunrise Sunset. Beat a horse in here named 50s Music, the 7 you've got in your mix as well, who I thought ran really big there. First time for Kenny Decker. He's brought these Jacks or Better Farm homebreds here up to Maryland. He's had quite a bit of success. He knows how to spot horses in the right place, and I think going 5.5 to 6 maybe helped 50s Music in here to rock around the clock.
All right, we're out of time. Nice 12-race program here today. Everything's falling off here on me. Let's get tied back on.
That was me
here.
yesterday. Oh, there it goes again. Okay.
All right, Derby Day is here. We have 12 live races, party on the apron, silent auction for the PDJF. Best of luck here. Kimber Goodwin, she'll be on with me this afternoon.
Changes coming up, too, maybe about 5 minutes.